So the New York Times is hiring this journalist by the name of Sarah Jeong or whatever. I can't pronounce her last name, but she is going to be the head of the technology department or writing about that type of shit. And it's recently been uncovered that she has made a lot of tweets in the past, pretty anti white, racist tweets that have been uncovered. And the New York Times, came out, made a statement about this saying that they're going to hire her anyways. And ultimately, I don't really care. I'm not going to be like, she needs to be fired. We need to remove her from her post. Blah, blah, blah. Let New York Times hire whomever they want. And, you don't have to necessarily make an outrage about it. But the same should be said about Republicans or people on the right. Like, I remember MSNBC hired like a Republican a while ago. And it was like, oh my God, you guys are insane. We need to get this guy. He supports Trump. Blah, blah, blah. There was that other Lord guy or something that worked for CNN during a campaign. He eventually had to leave because he was in support of Trump. So, people, the media, the left-wing media creates these outrage mobs to get rid of people for the smallest of reasons. But when we find out people make, like, really disgusting pedophile jokes, deliberately racist jokes that are being deliberately racist, then all of a sudden it's like, guys, these outrage mobs from the right are truly horrible, and these guys are just babies, and enough with these outrage mobs. But you'll see, they're gonna forget that. The people saying that right now, they're immediately gonna forget it when it comes to somebody on the right who says something racist or not even racist, right? Most of the things that people get persecuted over are not racist, and they're just, people infer that they're racist, right? Like the whole Roseanne thing, right? They're like, oh, you're saying black people are monkeys and this and that, right? Like, what she said wasn't even racist, but she lost her job, plus they took away her reruns, right? Like, they went hardcore on her. But the same people who are like, oh, let's not persecute these people and James Gunn and this and that for what they said, because we need to forgive and forget and, move on. But the New York Times released a statement about this. They're like, we hired Sarah Jeong, because of the exceptional work she has done covering the internet and technology at a range of respected publications. Her journalism and the fact that she is a young Asian woman have made her a subject of frequent online harassment. It probably hasn't. For a period of time, she responded to that harassment by imitating the rhetoric of her harassers. She sees this now that this approach only served to feed the vitriol that we too often see on social media. She regrets it, and the Time does not condone it. We had a candid conversation about Sarah, vetting process, yada yada yada. She's going to be a part of their editorial board. So it's just funny that they took this as like an actual excuse, like, oh well, they were being really racist to me, so I was going to be racist back to them. Like, and if you read her tweets, like, they're not directed at anybody. This is to her followers. So, she's just voicing her opinion. Like, this whole excuse that she's making is bullshit. And imagine if white people made this same excuse. You know what? A lot of white people who do end up saying, like, the N-word or saying some racist shit, it's after being goaded for like hours. Or they're being goaded and goaded and goaded. And it's like, you white trash, you white this, that. People, they go on and on and on. And then they're like, oh, you want to say the N-word to me, don't you? I know you do. Yeah, you do. So it's like a lot of the time it is massively goaded, right? But, that excuse doesn't work for them. They don't get off the hook for that. Doesn't matter. They get their whole life ruined everything that they work for gets thrown down the drain because a few words they said, didn't line up with what you think is fine, right? But these people, they can say whatever they want. And, I'll go through a few of her tweets. It's like, dumbass fucking white people marking up the internet with their opinions like dogs pissing on fire hydrants. So, this is probably what she's talking about, the harassment that she's getting. It's probably people just disagreeing with her other racist opinions, and then she's gonna respond with, damn white people and your opinions. Like, I hear this all the time. We don't want your opinions. Put them somewhere else. They're not relevant because of your skin color, and you don't know my experience because I'm such a fucking victim. Blah, wah, wah, wah. Leave America. Leave North America if you don't like the fucking living standards, okay? Asians make more money on average than white people in this white supremacist society that you live in. So fucking go. It's as simple as that. And more people need to start saying that when we start hearing this bullshit from people. It's like, okay, leave the country then. Move. Go to another place. Right? But she goes on. She's like, oh man, it's kind of sick how much joy I get out of being cruel to old white men. Like, there's so much contempt for old white men because, everything is essentially blamed on them, and it's going to be blamed on the younger men down the road, and, but they are the most culpable in the minds of a lot of leftists. So these people, even if you were an old white man and you were a hippie and you march with people and you were never racist, all this shit, just by the fact of your color, your skin, and the fact that you're old, they're going to assume that you grew up in these times and you're automatically a racist and you hate them, blah, blah, blah. So, these people are the racists because they're making a judgment based on the color of that person's skin immediately. But no, it's not. It's power plus prejudice. That's the only thing that's racist, right? You have all the power, white people, so I can't be racist to you. Are white people genetically predisposed to burn faster in the sun, thus logically being only fit to live underground like groveling goblins? And it's like, this wasn't a joke. I've heard this rhetoric from black nationalists, fucking anti-white racist people like this before. That like, oh, your skin, your melanin low level is proof that you're a virus, and that you getting a suntan and getting a sunburn means that you're not fit to live on the fucking planet. There's so much of this being fed in to the minds of people to just hate white people, hate Western society. And it's like, where is this coming from, right? It's obviously coming from, the educational systems, a lot of this propaganda being fed towards people, but the amount of contempt and hate that these people have, considering how prosperous and how good of a life that these people have it in America, just baffles my mind. Like, they don't live in reality. Not whatsoever. They are divorced from it. I dare you to get on Wikipedia and play things white people can definitely take credit for. It's really hard. So it's like, yeah, white people took all credit of everybody, and we've stolen all the inventions, all the creation, everything that white people made. It was actually somebody else that was black or Asian that invented it, that we stole first, which is just a lie. I'm sorry to say, but Western society has currently created a lot of things that you benefit from right now. I'm not saying every white person can take credit for this, but the society that created it is Western society. It's not because we enslaved people. It's not because we invaded and colonized or anything like this. Because all societies have enslaved, invaded, colonized, raped, pillaged, stolen, right? All societies have done this, but it was the way that we structured our societies in order to give people freedom to do these things, to come up with inventions, to, challenge the status quo, to not cut off your hand and your head when you, talk bad about Jesus or the religion, right? Like, there's a reason why people flee to these countries. It's because they have freedom. This is the reason why our countries are good. It's not because of theft, it's not because of anything like that. It's because we developed our systems in order to allow our people to thrive, in order to allow our people to invent, to own things, right? So, it has nothing to do with what a lot of these people have a lot of their contempt from. Like, a lot of their hate that they have is because they're taught revisionist history. They believe, everybody who is rich, everybody who has a lot of things, ultimately got that through theft, right? Because, but that is a lie. Some people do get things through theft and through ill-gotten gains, but that's not the truth with a lot of people. And even if they had this money inherited to them, it doesn't matter. Their parents worked hard for them to leave it to them, and they deserve that money. Even if they didn't work for it, if their parents worked for it and left it to them, then they deserve it, because they wouldn't have worked that hard if they knew they wouldn't been allowed to leave any of that money to their kids, right? They would have stayed home and spent more time with them, right? Instead of working and then leaving a bunch of money to them when they die. So, you're not going to have all that money. But another thing, hashtag cancel white people. White men are bullshit. No one cares about women. You can threaten anyone on the internet except cops. Okay, that's from 2004. That's not true at all. I just realized why I can't stand watching Breaking Bad or Battlestar Galactica. The premise of both is just white people being miserable. Okay, and then don't watch it. It's not for you. Have you ever tried to figure out all the things that white people are allowed to do that aren't cultural appropriation? That's literally nothing. So that, another revisionist history type thing. We just steal everybody's shit. Everything we have was actually stolen from a different culture, where it's like, all cultures have taken from each other at one point in history, right? Like, languages adopt from other languages. Like, this is an ebb and flow thing. Like, it's very hard to pinpoint who owns something. Wait, this is the first culture that wore these braids, so now nobody else can wear braids because it's cultural appropriation or some shit. But it's like, just be happy with what we have fucking now. Stop trying to focus so much on who did what, who created what, who did that. And the only reason that a lot of people end up bringing up the fact that Western civilizations have created some of these things that you like and all that stuff is because there is constant demonization of it. There is constant demonization of the culture, and this is why people have the retort of, it's because of, the Western civilization that we have all of these things. People are like, oh, everybody's always talking so much about how great it is. It's like, yeah, it is great, but half the time us bringing it up is because we're defending it from people attacking it and thinking that, like, some socialist or communist system is going to be better, which we know it isn't better. There was nobody from Canada or America fleeing to Russia. Okay? Nobody flees to communist countries. It never happens. They flee to capitalist countries. They flee to our countries. It's not the other way around. So trying to be more like them is not going to help us in the end. Whites, then at one of the very end, it's like, white people have stopped breeding. You'll all go extinct soon. This was my plan all along. Like, it could be a joke or whatever. But, it's just, imagine, just replace what she's saying with white and put black, put any other race, and you know what would happen. You know she would be immediately fired or not even considered for the role, or for the position. But, it's like, and and like I said, that Tim Pool, he was saying that, like, oh, maybe these companies are taking a stand against outrage mobs. It's like, no, they're not. Nobody cares about anti-white racism. Nobody cares about that. They only care about white people being racist towards other people. That's it. That's why you see every week, every other day, there's some viral video of some white person saying something kind of racist to somebody else. And it gets massive coverage. The person gets doxxed. They get, their lives ruined, or people attempt to, contact their work, get them fired, all this shit. But when it comes to leftists, when they say the exact same thing but with other races, they get promoted. They get a pat on the back. So I don't recommend saying she needs to be fired, she needs to do all this shit, because I think that should be up to the private company. The company should make that decision on their own, and they understand their audience. They understand who reads the New York Times on average, and they know that their audience is full of people that just are either self-hating white people or just racist against white people. They're not going to have an issue with this, right? It's like if she were going to go work for, a company like The Roots publication, even though she's Asian, but just the shit that they release, right? Obviously, they wouldn't have a problem with hiring somebody like her. And obviously, New York Times and the audience that they sell to is not going to have a problem with this, right? But if she was white and she was saying shit about Asians, then New York Times would not hire her. She would not even be considered for the role or the position. But this is totally fine. And I still recommend bringing up old tweets like this. Bring this shit up. You don't necessarily have to say fire her, but bring up the double standards and let people see this. Let them see the blatant double standards and how in society you can be as racist as you want towards white people, and it's not an issue. But everybody else has the privilege to essentially say whatever the fuck they want to say. We don't need to get angry and stuff about this, but just keep pointing it out. Keep bringing up old tweets. Keep showing these things, and let the left be hypocritical. Let them just fucking, show themselves to be what they really are. They're just hypocrites. They don't care about racism. They just care about silencing their opponents who happen to say some racist shit occasionally or whatever. They can get them on it or whatever. Or they'll just infer, and they'll be like, well, he said he wants to remove welfare and he wants to do this, which is really an attack on black people and on minorities. And it's like, well, okay, so these are the same people that get mad when you say black people are on welfare disproportionately. Then they'll be like, no, that's not true, white people are on welfare, blah 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 blah. But then when you say you're gonna reduce welfare and this that, oh, this is a subversive attack on black people or aboriginals or this, right? So there's no winning with these people. And you never apologize unless you say something that is, you truly regret, that's really mean to some. I don't know, somebody's their dad just dies, and you say like, good riddance, he was a piece of shit, or I don't know. Sometimes there's occasional things you can apologize for, but when it comes to these leftists and shit, you never give ground to them, right? Never give ground, because once you do, they're just going to rub dirt in the fucking wound. They're not going to change their behavior. They never will. And at the very least, even if they're not going to be fired and all this shit, for the things that they say, at least it's exposed, and we have more info to see these people for what they really are, for what they really think, and what principles they genuinely hold, because we know that they don't. It's the ends justify the means with these types of people. They have no morals. As long as they can get what they want, they will use any type of tactic to get it, whether it is justified or not, whether it is moral or not. So keep bringing up this shit, like I said before, and it's not. I don't think we should, like I said, create an outrage mob, but people need to see this. And that's pretty much all I had to say. If you like my content, subscribe and have a good day. See ya.